once more to another episode of Journey to I Do with myself, Magic. This is a career dedicated episode, one that has been asked for, and because I like delivering, I'm here to deliver to all of my mentees, my fellow colleagues, and people in the CASA stream, and even outside. But this is basically about my journey. I don't know if you guys can recall the time where I went to VUT to do an encouragement talk. It was called Coffee with CAs. And one of the questions that the students, or one of the most asked questions that the students have was, once you become a CA, can you basically change around and do different things? Or once you choose a certain career path, do you get stuck in it? And I guess it's one of the main questions when one is studying this career path, because once you do your articles, there's, even before you get into your articles, there's the question, where do you do your articles? Do you do it in the big four? Do you do it in the smaller firms? How do you go about it? And once you qualify, man, oh man, that is the most the scariest time, because no one really knows which path to follow. Most people do, and they're fortunate that they already know, even before they chose this career, what path they wanted to take. But most of us, unfortunately, literally have to figure our way out, and sometimes you only learn through process of elimination that nah, or yay. And for me, I'm about to give you a brief summary of my journey thus far. Today marks, well, not today, but when you see this, no. I got it so wrong. Anyways, today, when you see this, which will be the 30th of June, right? 2020, it will mark 2 years after I left the place where I did my articles. So I did my articles in one of the big four. So how I opted to do articles is that after I studied, or when I was in my 4th year, I realized I have no idea what I wanted to do. So when I had conversations with people, they said, if you're not really sure which stream to take, do I go do articles in a bank? Do I go do articles at like what's this? Auditor General, etc. Because there are options of where you can do your articles. I really wasn't clued up, and I didn't know which one to take. And when I consulted with people, they advised that no, if you're a person who doesn't really know what yet you want to do, articles is best done in an audit firm for someone like that, because then you get exposed to still the banks. You still do Auditor General clients if you want. If you go public sector, there you get a wide range of knowledge, and then you can then choose what you wanted to do. So I knew for a fact that, or I felt at the time, I don't know what I wanted to do. So I opted for the option to go do my articles at an audit firm. I had already signed with an audit firm when I was in my 1st year of attempt of honors. All of you who know my story know that I repeated my honors, right? So I signed on my 4th year, because throughout my degree period, I didn't want to sign because I was like, nah, I don't really know what I want to do, and I don't want to tie myself down. And only in my 4th year did I then sign. And when I repeated my articles, I then signed also with Tutuka over and above my article audit firm that I did my articles with. I'm trying to not mention names, that's why like my mind literally to say, don't say it, you know. So forgive me for that. But fine, I was with Tutuka. So when you're with Tutuka, you get options, and you got a wide range of options, and from public sector to the Reserve Bank and so forth, where you can do your articles. I was like, no guys, I'm good with my current audit firm. So that's where I went, and that's where I started my articles journey from 2015 January. And lo and behold, I did my articles in financial services. And at the time when I joined, the company wanted to transform. They wanted to have more Black people represented in the financial services space in terms of assurance services that they offer, because it was mainly white people who came from specific varsities, and they wanted that that narrative to be changed a bit. And the lady who was part of resource planning was like to me, Kuti, you are so bold, because I wanted to do mining. I don't know why. I think it's because I come from a family of engineers. So for me, the obvious choice was, no, I want to do my articles in mining. And they just like, mining? No, girl, I don't think so. I think go to financial services. And their approach, which looking back, I think they really sold it very well for me. They were like, no, financial services is best for you. Your personality will fit. You are resilient. You will be able to handle stuff, and you will be part of the pioneering team or group of people who will then become great in the financial services space. And at the time, honestly, I didn't even know what that meant. But I was just like, oh, because I didn't know. So I was just like, if you guys think I will do good there, then it's fine. What can I say? And then, yeah, went into financial services. And I was fortunate that my clients were the top banks that the audit firm did audits for. So I was very exposed. And I'm still very fortunate for those experiences. It was tough though. It was very tough. The pioneering and whatever parts and trying to forge this whole let's transform thing. Obviously, it was painful because it's not easy. Change is not. It's not easy. But I remember what my manager always used to say. One of my managers used to always say, Kuti, be the change you want to see. So if someone is doing things that you don't like, don't do what they do, do it differently. Show them how to do it. And that was actually a white manager who used to tell me that. And I'm still very grateful for that lesson, because even today in my career, I use it and I try to use it as best as possible. So lo and behold, financial services. So I was in financial services in first year, second year. And I think in my third year, I got a bit of exposure to retail. Sorry. Oh, my eyes. Guys, I'm going through skin treatment. Like, I've been acne. I've had acne problems since I was a teenager, and it doesn't want to leave. Just when I think I'm sorted, it always comes back. But anyways, so this treatment makes my skin dry, my lips dry, and my eyes are very red. I don't know if you guys can see it on the other side, but anyways, so I did mainly financial services, and then I got a bit exposed to retail in my third year of articles. And then I liked retail. I liked retail in a sense that it was different from banking. It was different from banking and it was challenging, which I needed. But what the banking space introduced me to was that I got exposed to just how the system works, because it's something that I could relate to. I could relate to, okay, so when I go to a bank and I open a bank account, this is the process that I take. Oh, this is why they make me fill these forms. Oh, this is why they do this. Oh, this is why they do this, you know? But I was doing it from a business perspective, because the client I was auditing, it was a business and individuals. So I got a bit of both business banking and retail banking. Retail banking is your individuals. It's like me when I go open an account, a check account or whatever, or when I go apply for a home loan, you know. So it got me exposed to different things within the banking system, and also it's real practical tangible things. So I really appreciated that. And I was fortunate that I was one of the supervisors who was, I wouldn't want to say lead, but I was in one of the big packs, so that made me be very open, and I would meet like key holders within the banking system, and I got to ask questions. I would ask them, okay, so when you leave this meeting, what are you going to do after this meeting? And then I kind of saw, okay, so when someone is called a controller, this is what they do. A product controller, oh, this is what you do. Also, if you're called an analyst, this is what you do. Oh, when you're called a data. My boss was teasing me about my accent today. When you're called a data specialist, oh, this is what you do. Okay, cool. Okay. And along the way, I think I kind of crossed and ticked what I would be interested in and what I would not be interested in. So when I got to the retail space, the clients that I was fortunate to audit were fast foods. Oh my gosh, I'm so tempted to actually mention the client, but I'm not gonna do that. So it was a fast food client, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to see the behind the scenes, the the management process and understanding, oh, this shares were bought this way, this is how the company was incorporated, the behind the scenes, and also how it is run, the franchises, how the franchises are made, what makes a franchise successful or not, how they write off certain franchises, how much it costs for you to acquire a franchise. My God, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then I also did a perfume distributor company. That was dope. We used to get discounts for that. I miss it so much. Yeah. So I got excited about retail, but obviously the auditing part of it was painful because now you have to understand all these different elements. And remember, when people are selling products, there's so many things in there. They are diversified. And whereas banking, you just know, if I'm looking at home loans, it's home loans. Like, the process is the same. Whereas in retail, one company can be selling like 10,000 products, which all can be accounted for the same way. The costing is different and so forth. And then there's processes behind it at initiation, the supplier chain, the manufacturing element in their manufacturing, the how they store the actual food for fast foods, for the franchises and whatever, the centralization of whether certain parts or certain processes of the company are centralized or decentralized. Like, I was just like, this is so dope. So fast forward, I am now in my third year and I'm about to finish my articles, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Other people were applying for things. Other people were like, they want to study CFA and whatever. Some had already started studying CFA when we were doing articles. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I am so confused. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I feel like I'm wasting my life. But for me, I just felt like I just need to get through articles. Just like I felt when I was in varsity. I just want to get through varsity. And I feel like my career has basically been just moments of, I just want to get through this. Oh my gosh, you know? And I really, really admire people who got it immediately, or who always knew, or who were brought up in a way where they were exposed. Because to my defense, I really was not exposed. I'm the first CA in my family and background. Like, there's not even anyone in finance, you know. So when I left Limpopo coming to become a CA, I really did not understand what that meant. I really did not understand what it means on a day-to-day basis. What would my role be, and what that transitions to, and what that looks like, or the steps to say, no, if you want to become an investment banker, then this is the route you should follow. Then maybe when you start your articles, maybe do CFA, because that will really give you a better opportunity to get the roles that you want and to get the mola. But I just didn't know that. And I'm fortunate also that at least my brother is studying the same thing. I don't know why. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Anyways, he's studying the same thing, so at least now it gives me a better position to advise him, and I know he will hate this. So I'm already saying, like, bro, I think you need to like rethink this whole thing. But let me not be negative and deviate. Let me come back. So fine, I qualified end of 2017, and in that 2017 year, I got an opportunity to apply for secondment, and I remember applying and they asked which region you wanted to go to. And I was just like, black child, I don't know. I've never been outside South Africa. I've never even been to Africa. Like, I mean, the best I've done is I've gone on a cruise ship, which was meant to go to the Portuguese Mozambique Islands, which we never even set our foot outside the boat because the weather was so bad at the time that I went. So now I've never, like, the only stamp is that one, and I didn't even get the stamp. So guys, like, I was just like, I don't know. So researched, Googled, whatever, and then I was like, okay, you know what? The US, this was when there was drama. I was just like, nah, I'm not about that life. I was like, can you hear the accent? I'm not about that life, you know, like, no ways, bro, like, bro, no. I wouldn't have fit in. Anyway, so I was like, no, I want to go to Europe. Europe feels like, you know, I think I would be fine in Europe. Then the question was, where in Europe? And I was just like, I remember just going blank. I'm like, any. Because I had options. I could have specified where I wanted to go. Do you want to go to the UK? Do you want to go to like whatever, Germany, whatever? There's like so many. Guys, if I'm saying something that's off, that's because I don't know, guys. I'm still trying to grow this knowledge, but I want to grow it through experience as well. I love traveling, so yeah, the traveling element grew a bit in me. So now I just, from not having gone outside of SA to now just like always wanting to travel. So, anyways, coming back, I always have to. Woo! Guys, I really need to start writing notes, and I must have something there in the screen that just, yeah, and line for line. But anyways, this is more authentic, this is more real, and for me, I feel like real is what I would appreciate someone giving me. I don't like rehearsed lines. I don't like selling this perfect picture. This is how my real life works. If my makeup looks off, that's because maybe in real life my makeup is also off. If I have pimples, that's because I have pimples. If I look perfect, I doubt it. So this is me, even one-on-one. If you were to ever encounter me, I would want you to see over the screen that the same person you see is the same person you meet in person. But okay, let me come back. So yeah, got an opportunity to go on secondment, and lo and behold, when it came back with my NE, I was placed to go to London. I got excited about it. I remember towards the end of the year, I started planning for it, buying clothes and whatever, because I didn't wanna spend that side, because I was just like, those euros, no ways, bros. Let's spend the rands here. Let mom help me spend the rands here before I go to the other side. So I prepared. Yeah, K-Way was the best. K-Way. I got a K-Way jacket. I got K-Way inside pants and tops. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you can see. I'm wearing pants inside this pants. I get very cold. So there's layers, and it was very warm. K-Way is the go-to place. Anyways, this is not a paid advert, so you can take it or leave it. Fine. And then went to London for like 3 months. And even then I was placed in financial services, business capital markets. And it was a hella challenge. Because it was a new client for the company. It was a new audit for that company, because I had seconded with the same place that I did my articles, one of the big four. So it was a new client for them. So we literally had to start from scratch. And guys, do you know that the reason why they want us South Africans to go to the other side, whether it's Europe, whether it's the US, is because we are actually really more knowledgeable, and our experience is very valuable. And I think we need to take it with that light, that we are actually very educated and very capable, and they're not just sending us that side because we are low cost, but because we can actually do the job. Which means sometimes you will obviously work more hours and be overworked, but it is a great experience. And once you have that experience, nothing and no one can take it away from you. It literally just opens up your eyes. But fine, after that I went for 3 months, and then I took a month off to just travel in Europe. Oh, best time of my life. Like, my gosh, that was the best time of my life. I remember it. And then came back in May, end of April. I came back to SA end of April, and I came back now as an assistant manager. And remember I told you that I had done my whole articles time in financial services, well, and got a bit of exposure in my third year to retail. I felt I wanted to do my articles in retail. No, man, to become a manager in retail. And that was also because one of the partners that I had worked with in retail approached me saying, please come through and work for my department. So fine, that was great. Came back in retail. June the 15th, I was handing in my resignation. This is where the fun parts now start, right? And the question most people asked me, and have asked me even now, why, Kuti, why? I literally had to sit with my partner and explain why. I literally had to sit with my mom and tell her why. I had to explain to my friends why. And I also had to explain to myself why. So here's the why. At the time, first of all, when I was traveling, I got diagnosed with bronchitis. It's very cold in Europe, and although it was a solo trip that I did around Europe, it was a group tour. So everything is planned out for you. You just pay a fee. Everything is planned out for you guys. Yes, you get time to do stuff that you want to do they give us days or periods of time where you can go do your own thing, but you are with other people. So even when we are sleeping, there's like, maybe we go to hostels and there's like a four bedroom, and then you shower. And there was a girl in one of the groups that I was in who was sick, and me and my freaking weak immune system caught the bug, right? But it hit me hard. Like, I literally had to consult with the doctor, and I think I paid over 200 euros, guys. That's a lot of money for one consult. I was so mad. I was like, Ma, I can't believe this. Oh my gosh. So I was diagnosed with bronchitis, and then I got better as I got back. But now I'm back in a new environment, new season, and my body was just not having it. I remember my doctor, my GP was like, Kuti, don't go back to work yet, first recover. But girl was thinking, I took a whole month to gallivant. The bills did not take a break. Hey, I'm going back to work. Guys, I went back to work. In the first week of being back, I think it was the third day, I literally passed out at the office, like off the chair. And one of my then managers had to rush me to the hospital. That was the worst. And I remember her asking, who can I call? Kuti, who can I call? And I'm just like, there's no one to call, because I didn't want her to call my mom, because I know my mom will panic, and she's in freaking Limpopo, so it doesn't help anyone. So I'm just like, no, there's no one to call. No boyfriend. I'm like, no. Please just take me to the hospital, or let the ambulance come here, or something. Well, I didn't actually speak. It's not like we were having back and forth conversations. I was literally out. She just asked, is there anyone I can call? I'm like, no. She's like, boyfriend. I'm like, no. I'm just like, cool. Anyways, I was diagnosed with bronchitis. My immune system wasn't great, and I forced myself to go to work earlier than I should have. And when I was in hospital, and when I got back home after I was booked off, my manager kept pestering. One of my managers kept pestering and saying, when are you coming back to work? I need this. I'm like, okay, cool. So this is the new levels now. Remember, I'm now back at a place where I left as an articles person, as a trainee, and now I'm a manager. There's a higher responsibility and expectation. So the work doesn't stop just because you're sick. And at the time I felt, no, this is not for me. And my health was also taking a toll. And I actually felt at the time I wanted to do something different. I.e., I thought I wanted to be like a strategy, something big, And I was just like, I think my audit time is up and I want to leave. Mind you, I didn't have a job. It's not like I had looked for a job and I had started the interview process or anything of the sort. I just knew that I didn't want to do audit at that point in time, but I had done zero planning for what next, right? And then, but with everything that was happening also in my personal life, in terms of my health, honestly, I just couldn't give the best of me and give the best of what was expected without compromising myself. So it was you have to choose, and I honestly chose myself. It didn't make sense. It didn't make financial sense, and yeah, made that decision. I resigned on the 15th of June and left on the 30th of June. So that is literally 2 months as an assistant manager. All right, so fine. And I was thinking, wow, I'm a qualified CA, and I went to London. My CV will be so amazing. Yeah, like I'll literally get a job soon. It didn't happen like that, guys. I said July, August, September. September is when I started getting called for interviews. So July, I was like, having time, fun employed, no. August was like, okay, girl, now we need to really seriously seek a job. Like, I was now calling agents, going for agents now want interviews, eh? I was like, they would say, please come in for an interview. I would go there thinking this is an actual interview. No, this is an interview to get to know you as your agents so we can get you interviews with the real employers. Say what? Yeah, I think I went to various interviews with agents because I just wanted to be in the market and it should be known that the girl is in the market. August, September. Only started going to interviews towards the end of September. Guys, it was tough. It was very tough. And then I got a job at one of the banks to go as a contractor for 6 months with the potential for it to go permanent. Fine, started, everything was fine, everything went fine. It was a finance manager role. Things were fine, cool. And lo and behold, towards the nearing of my contract ending, which now we need to assess, are you going on permanent or is it buy, which buy was never made out to be an option when I started. It actually ended up as a buy. And guys, that was the worst experience of my life. The worst experience of my life. So I want to tell you guys that your careers will take many shapes and it will take many folds. You will have your highs, you will have your lows. You will have decisions that you make and you'll have decisions that are imposed on you. You will lose jobs because you resigned, or you will lose jobs because you are not capable to do the job, or you will lose your job because someone just doesn't like you, and it is what it is. And it was very hard. It was a very painful experience, one that unfortunately, because it's a small world, you guys know, I can't actually dish out the fullness of that story, but it will go down one of those experiences where I never wish it on anyone. It was painful. It was painful, and you know, there's certain times where you think maybe you're making up things in your head, or maybe you are just not aware of the fact that maybe you were not doing a good job and you just found out the hard way. People who were senior to me came and told me, like, I was chilled about it. Like, I was just like, guys, I've known not to have. I've been unemployed for a bit now. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But they were just like, but what's going on is so bad on so many levels. I remember even one of the directors there in that company wanting to help me go and make this thing official in terms of go report it on the news. People were like, no, let's call the EFF on this mother bit. What? Like, what? I'm like, guys, calm down. Sometimes I was just like, guys, it's not that. They're like, dude, this is deep, hey? And then they pumped me up. I got this close, but I was just like, is it worth it though? I was just like, nah, it is what it is. Let's let it go. So fine. After that, I lost my job. I say I got fired, but people say, no, just say, I didn't get fired though. The contract ended, it wasn't renewed. It's just the way in which it was done, right? It is equivalent of being fired. I'm not being dramatic. I know I'm dramatic in nature, but that's what happened. On no basis whatsoever. None that could have been said that, yeah, it was just, yeah. Anyway, so fine. I'm now fun employed again. This happened sometime last year. End of April, actually. Last year. And then now June I was off, and I got a call from one of the agents for one of the interviews I had gone to, that role that I had initially interviewed for and they went for someone else is now open again. So guys, remember, for you to be accepted for a role, other people got rejected. For you to be rejected for a role, someone else got accepted. So we need to get to a place where we are okay with the fact that we will lose and we will gain. And sometimes when you are in that situation, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, and it's painful, and you have questions, and It can even affect your self-confidence, where you're just like, am I not capable? And it will add and fuel to your own confusion, where maybe you just feel like, I don't know what I'm doing with my career. And other people will ask you also, why are you always changing careers? Why are you always changing jobs? You look so confused. You sound so what do you want? And you don't have an answer. And I bet you the same people who are asking you those questions also don't always have it figured out in one area of their lives or the other. But because it's human nature wants to ask questions. And that's why we also put so much pressure on ourselves, because we want to have answers. So I want to talk to anyone who's out there who has had some experiences or some glitches or some level of rejection in one area or the other, especially in your career, where you feel like, man, it's been hard, or it's like the more effort I put in, it just doesn't work out. God's ways are really higher than our ways. And when it is coming from someone who maybe hasn't had experiences, you can say, easy for you to say that. I mean, you are living your best life. Honeys, I am not. I will be frank with you. I have had very bad experiences. And even in the, when I'm thinking, it's just a career part of my life that's not working out. I lost friends when I lost my job. The periods where I wasn't working, that's when I really saw who my friends were. And it, from a handful, I can it's yeah, where you're just like, say what? Oh, okay. Cool. And sometimes life will let you do for that happen to you. Don't blame people. I am fine. The friends I lost, thank you, and God bless you. You did nothing wrong. People move. And I was not moving at the time because I had lost my job. So others moved. Others had more money to travel. Others had stuff to do. They could, it was fun. It was fun times. But for me, it wasn't. God was repacking me and reshifting me to be like, let's focus on what's important. And there was a lot of things that God was doing in my life in that period. So as much as I can point out the negatives, I shouldn't hide the positives. Man, I got so much peace. I got a much deeper level understanding of who I am, a much deeper level understanding and connection with my relationship with God and with my family. I got a lot of things highlighted to me. I got to reassess what is really important to me. So if I didn't have a job and I didn't have money, am I still okay? Or am I tied to the title of what I do or don't do? Do I define myself by the salary that comes in every month? Is my life so built around a salary where if I go for 10 months without a salary, my whole life would shrink, because then that means my finances are not in order. So there were so many things that were highlighted during that time, and I'm so, so grateful. God, I thank him every day for what happened, even though at the time, no, I had questions. Lord, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? The usual stuff. And man, that time was just tough, because even my mom, when I resigned from the first job, she was just like, my child, I'll support you emotionally, but not financially. I thought she was joking, guys. No, mommy didn't come through. Hey, mommy was just like, what are the high important things, like where if there's no payment, things will go. And even then, we call them and tell them you're not working and arrange something. Yeah, it was tough. And I really feel like God really, really, really pulled people to the side so that he can leave me right there to deal with me directly, so that I'm not dependent on anyone else but him, which is a good thing. And he brought new people also in that period of time, people whom I'm just like, no matter what you do, there is nothing that those people, no matter what they do in the future, that is terrible. To me, they will always be great people. If it means I will always, always, always cherish them, because they came into my life at the lowest and they loved me when I couldn't even love myself. And that for me, I'm very much into support. I am one person who feels most times in my life I don't get it. So when I do, even if you did something small and to you think it's insignificant, for me it is a big deal, because I really, really appreciate such things. So fun. Then I went to the interview for the job that I told you about, where they had initially taken someone else internally, and then fast forward a year later, right? It's literally a year later. A year later, no, 6 months later. 6 months later, that same role. So the day I went for the bank interview, and this, what am I gonna call it now? Oof. What am I gonna call it now? And the retail company. So the bank and the retail company. I went on the same day for both interviews. Then the bank came back and gave me the contract role. And after I agreed to this, the retail company then came back after I had started at the contract role that no, they went for someone internally. So I was just like, sharp. So fine, it worked out. And then now we are now in April 2019, right? When this contract has ended with the bank, and the retail company calls me and say, no, the role that you interviewed for 6 months ago is now opened. I'm just like, oh, this is weird. And for that same retail company, I had gone to an interview for another post. Okay, so just to explain, remember, I did my articles at one of the big four. It was in financial services with a bit of retail. Then I then became an assistant manager in retail for like 2 months. And then I went to a bank as a finance manager, a product finance manager to be quite precise. And then this role with the retail company was to become part of the senior internal audit team, right? So that job reopened again after this contract ended. And I had gone to that same retail company for an interview to become an assistant to the CFO. And then they said they're going for someone internal. So now I had to either take this internal, well, it's not like I had options. I had the internal audit role, which mind you was a financial cut to what I was earning when I was doing the contract role at the bank. The banks do generally pay more. And even when I got to the interview, they were just like, we called you back because we really liked you, but we know we can't afford you, so we don't even know if you will even accept this job. And at the time, I was just like, guys, a job is better than than nothing, because we were just going to elections at the time. So me even being called for an interview was a blessing. So I was just like, I'm not gonna waste time, you know. And I felt I needed an environment where I can heal, because I assessed them throughout all the interview processes that I had with them, and they were genuinely nice people. And I was like, if I have to take a financial cut for a peace of mind and a job that is not as stressful, which this role was, I was like, it's fine, I will take it and I will see it from there. Cool. Took the financial cut. Felt like at first I was happy. I was happy that I'm in a good environment. The people are nice. I'm not stressed. I come home at 4. My laptop is closed. I don't need to work in the evenings. I'm good. And then over time, the enjoyment of the people was taken away by the fact that I'm not being paid. And that started frustrating me again. And I got to a place where I'm like, Lord, I don't understand what's going on. I feel like I'm going backwards financially with my career, because as an internal auditor, I was basically in charge of everything, running everything from scratch, where you do samples. So those who are trainees or who are post-qualified, you understand what I'm saying. You do samples, you get listings, you do samples, you take, and then at the end you do process improvements, you write a report, and then that is issued to the companies and your bosses. So I was just like, the ticking part, man. But the good thing also is I was traveling. I was in Cape Town, I was in Durban, I was in Sun City, and obviously they book you in like good places. I really had a good time. I had a good time, and I started on the 18th of July last year. Yeah, 18th of July. It's coming soon, actually. It will be a year next month. Um, and I was traveling, I was meeting different people. I got time to spend with family because in Durban I have family there, so during the weekend we would chill on, and I was just like, this is quite dope. But there was still that thing in me where I just felt like I've learned. I'm that person whom I learn very quickly and I get bored very quickly in a role. So part of the assessments that I've done in some of my job interviews, and man, I've done a lot of interviews. Because I've done a lot of. Remember, for every one job you interview for, you probably went to like 5 or 6 interviews, right? And remember, with interviews these days, they are levels. So you could be applying for one position, but there are like 6 stages of that role of interviews that you need to do. There's the assessment, there's the people, whatever, there's culture fit, there's what, there's assessment, there's so much drama. I've interviewed so much where I'm just like, guys, like, you get to a point where it helps you narrow down the kind of interviews you don't want. But I guess when you're desperate, anything goes. But I got to a point where I wasn't desperate. I was like, for this, do not call me anymore. If it's anything like this, I'm not for that party. Do not even try, because I had gone to so many interviews and nothing was happening. And I'm just like, Lord, what is going on? Fine. So now, towards the end of last year, like I was already July, August, September, October, November. Around November, I started feeling like, no, I can't do this, Lord. Lord, I can't do this. I can't do this. And November, December. But I kept saying, I don't want to resign. I'm not going to resign because I can't be that girl, I can't be that girl where I always do like 6 months, nana. But remember, not all of this was my decision. I've only resigned once. The second job after that, it just didn't end well, and it wasn't my doing or my voluntarily made decision. It was made for me. And then fast now on the third job. So my one friend always says, I'm now on my 4th job since I qualified because of the two months as an assistant manager, and then the 6 months, almost just 5 months, the contract role. And coming to this one, I said I started in July. So yes, I have changed already. So guys, I'm bad. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So I was in that role for 8 months. Okay, 8 months. But calm down, I didn't resign this time around. So the retail business, shouldn't even call it retail business. The retail group, or the group that I work for, which I'm sure y'all are so naughty, you'll probably go check out my LinkedIn. But the group that I work for, one of the clients that I was going to audit in March this year, actually hired me to be their finance person, right? I will not go into details about it. It's too soon. And yeah, don't want to say much more there. But so from external audit, finance manager at a bank, internal audit at a group, it's a services group. Yeah, they do services. And to being a finance person in one of the companies in the services group. So to answer you, have I figured out what I want yet? I think I close my eyes. I'm closing my eyes so that I can pull the real me. The truth, not that I'm not the real me, but the truth. I think I am becoming more and more conscious of what I don't want and what I want. And I feel like in a way, God has directed my steps, even in times when I didn't understand or see it as God directing me. And I feel like the growth, and even the times where I felt like I was going backwards in my career as opposed to my peers, but all the things that I've learned, the wealth of knowledge that I have, and the exposure that I've had in all those different roles, irrespective of how long they were for, has really enabled me to be someone who can proudly say that when I'm sitting with someone advising them about their career path in terms of the CA stream, I can actually be honest with them and speak from a place of experience and not I think, because certain things, once you've not gone through them, it's very easy to turn a blind eye and to not necessarily be able to connect with someone who's going through such a thing. And it has given me so much exposure and broadened my thinking, not just in my personal capacity, but in all the respective roles that I've been in. And even when I interact with people, it allows me to connect with each individual differently, because I've been exposed to so many different individuals. And when someone says what they do for a living within, or I get a call about a specific role, I automatically understand what that role entails, and I will not waste my time if it doesn't fit what I want. Because sometimes it's very, the job spec and reality are not always aligned. In case, actually, it's never aligned. And it's when you have gone into a specific work environment, or you've gone into a specific role, where you actually realize what that job actually entails. And for me, I can say I might not know for sure that I can tell you now that this is what I want, but what I can say is that I am growing and I am learning, and for me that is key. I am challenged every day in my current role. Every single day I'm challenged. I literally, it also pulls me to a place where I have to rely not only on myself but on God, because some of the expectations can become overwhelming. But every day I give it to God, and every day I give my best, and every day I learn something. I learn something new every day. And for me that is exciting, because as I was saying, one of my analysis is that I get bored very very easily. I'm more of a creative than I am of a numbers person. So I'm terrible with maths, guys. I'm terrible with maths, even with my pronunciation of numbers. I remember my boss today was just saying, "You sound like Zuma. What are you saying?" I was like, "No." And he's just like, "You are a CA." I'm like, "I'm a CA, yes." I mean, like, I work on Excel spreadsheets. I use calculators, guys. It's not like if you just throw to me how much is what, and what. Where's my phone at? Where's my calculator? I mean, hell no. I'm not. There are people who are like that. I'm not that person. I'm more of a creative. And for me, if that creative element of me, or that part of my brain, so if I'm doing a routine job for too long, and too long can differ. Too long can be 2 months. Too long can be a year. It depends on the role and the routine. So guys, most times you will be told that this is a routine role, and sometimes people will tell you that certain roles are very routine. Please just also be mindful that routine is very different, and routine is also different for different people, and what gets boring for me might not get boring for the next person. So no one has the right to judge another person based on what they define as routine, or what they define as career success. Some people, career success is staying in a company for 10 years, and that for them is they are successful. Someone, for them, it's moving from one paycheck to another that is higher, and that for them is success. For some people, it's moving from a place where you are ticking off and crossing out what you don't like, and that is for you is career success, which currently that is my definition of my career success. I am finding myself. I am finding what works for me, and I don't think it's unfortunate that I'm finding it the way I'm doing it, because I didn't even choose that I find out my path this way. I feel like everything has been designed and God orchestrated for every event to happen the way it has happened. Other places where I could have made better decisions. The only place I can think of is when I resigned without a job, in 2018. But even then, I was sure that I was sure. I was convicted within my spirit, and I had done my research about, and I had tangible reasons. That's why no one could convince me. Otherwise, my own mom couldn't convince me. My partner, not boyfriend, partner, my partner in the audit firm couldn't convince me, because I was sold to what I was sold for. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need to be sold in whatever it is you're believing you're doing, and whatever it is you feel a certain career path will teach you. And even if what you thought doesn't end up the way you thought, be gentle with yourself, because sometimes we'll make decisions and think this way is the highway, only to find that that is just a way that is going to a dead end. Or you find that it's a redirection, that no, it's not just a dead end, I need to U-turn because I actually need to take a different path as opposed to the one that I was initially taking. So let us, yes, be cognizant of the career decisions you make. Speak to people who know what you want to go into, and people who can tell you the day-to-day stuff. I don't want someone who will just sell me a job spec. I want someone who will tell me the day-to-day, and that part sometimes you leave it for the interview. But remember, guys, when you go for an interview, this is my approach. I am an amazing human being, and I am great at any job that I do. I give it my all. I might not start off great, but I will learn, and that is the spirit in me. I like learning, but also the other spirit in me. I love excellence in my personal capacity. In my personal life, I want excellence. So if I'm at a point now where I have to think, okay, Kuti, you've had your car for 6 years now. Do you buy a new car? I will not buy a new car if I can't afford the one I really want. I'm not going to just buy the next affordable thing. That is the level of excellence that I apply for myself. So it's either we do it or we don't. If you're going to do it, then do it the excellent way. And excellent for me could mean I give it 100%. Excellent for someone could mean they save their money instead of buying stuff. Whatever excellence means to you, as long as you are pursuing your highest, greater self, right? What was I talking about when I got to excellent? Yeah, so interviews. I'm not just looking for a job. I'm not just looking for a company that is willing to just take me a Kuti. No, I'm a great asset. Everywhere where I go, I tell myself, I am positioned by God. I am working in that firm as unto God. I'm not doing it for my boss. I'm not doing it for a paycheck. I'm doing it because God has blessed me with breath in my lungs, and He has given me the brains, the capacity, a body, a full functioning body that can actually serve people and a company. Until you can't say you will one day be a great leader and own a multi-billionaire company, whereas when you are in someone's million company, you are working as if it doesn't mean anything. And then you will one day cry when you have hired people who don't have the work ethic, and you forget you are that guy, you are that girl. So why are you acting different? Why are you performing? Why are you acting like this is so bizarre? So I always give out what I would want to receive. So when I go to an interview, I'm not just selling myself, and I don't have to sell myself. I'm just me. I get there and I'm like, hi, I'm Kuti. Hi. If I'm a hugger, so I'll probably hug. And then some people will be like, oh, we're hugging now. I'm just like, yeah, we are. Then decide. If you're not a hugger, or my personality offends you, or you just feel like, I can't work with this girl, great. You are not just helping yourself, you're also helping me, because it means we won't get along. So when you go for interviews, it's not just you selling yourself. You also need to assess, can I work with these people? Can I fit into this culture? Do they dress in a way that I will be able to adapt? Or will I have to tone myself down to make others feel better? Do I have to tone down my persona? The way I'm saying my bosses, literally, I'm just like, yo guys, what you're doing is so wrong. Obviously not in a formal meeting, but if I need to speak to them, I can call my boss right now and say this and this and this and this. But that is not how it has always been. And I'm telling you that it's a learning process. And with the interviews I've had and the experiences I've had, I'm learning that I need to also think of me. Because if I don't consider where I'm going to work, it's on me. They are considering if they want me to work there, but I must also consider, do I want to work there? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And with anyone who's going through interviews or going through any form of retrenchment, or has been retrenched, or they're in the job seeking phase, or you're still a student and you're just thinking, my career is so uncertain. Everything is so uncertain. Not because of COVID-19. Life in itself is uncertain. Life in itself is uncertain. You can be sure, you can wake up sure in 2019 that this is what you want to do, and wake up the same month the next year and you've changed your mind. It's not about whether you're changing your mind, but it's also about whether can you adapt to the changes you want to see. Are you someone who's adaptive? If you're thrown in a new environment tomorrow, will you survive? If you're thrown into a different project, will you survive? Or you are that type of person? Because you need to also, your where you will do best also depends on the kind of person you are. There are some people who love routine. I just want to wake up, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, come home. And that for them is success. Whereas for someone, they want to do 1, 2, 3 here, do 5 things here, and juggling. Not everyone can juggle. Not all women can juggle the same, guys. People must not lie. Not all women can juggle the same. Some women can juggle men very well, and some can't. I'm this one. I cannot. I just had to use the men one to just bring the relationship element. Don't you forget, I'm a relationship expert. Jokes. So we are not the same. So even when you are thinking of what you want to do, be honest about your personality and get to learn about the environments that you're going into. And there's one interview I went for. It went well. It went well. But one of the things that I asked was, what kind of environment is this? And after you've encountered me throughout this 1 hour interview, do you think I will fit into this environment? And the lady who was interviewing me was like, to be frank, this environment is very male dominated. There's a lot of Jewish men. They're not the bubbly whatever type. They're just very neddish. And you look like you're a hyper person and happy and bubbly. You might just not get the response or the persona or the vibes that you release in this environment. And I'm just like, okay, thank you. So when I left, I knew it was a good interview, but that is one thing I don't like about that environment, because I had been in an environment where me being happy made people unhappy, and I'm not gonna sacrifice my happiness for nobody. No thanks. Not even a paycheck. No. So when they then called me to say, no, we couldn't, you're not getting the job, but you are a perfect candidate. It's just that you have a strong personality. I was just like, thank you. I will take my strong personality elsewhere. And it was fine. I wasn't hurt, but I was just like, strong candidate with strong personality. Okay. No, they didn't even say strong personality. They said something about strong, but which made it sound like, then what kind of a person are you looking for the role that you're saying, But take even rejection as a blessing. Take rejection also as a blessing. You don't know what God is closing you out of. And when you just see a door slam in front of you, you're just like, oh my gosh, they don't like me. Maybe they're slamming it and they're holding a gun and someone is at gunpoint inside, which you want to walk in, and they're just like, no, it hurts being slammed the door on your face on, but they saved your life. So my career path has been interesting. It's still to be interesting. I don't have 5-year plans. I don't have 10-year plans. The only plan I have is to live for God, and to have God direct my steps, and to be the best version of me. And if it's in a CA career, whatever career it is, great. If it's me doing my own thing in the future, great. If it's me pursuing other creative passions and talents that I have, great. But the original plan is to say, let the one who plans and whose wills prevail be the plan that prevails in my life. because I didn't wake up in 2020 thinking I'll be working from home sometimes. Uh, working from home for the past however many months. So I literally started my new role the first week of the lockdown. It was very interesting, very challenging, and but we grow and we learn. This is my third month now in this new role, and I must say it's challenging. Yes, it just taken its toll on me in a sense that I work like I work harder than I've ever worked before. But it's refreshing, it's challenging, I'm growing, I'm learning, and the environment is good. And yeah, I'm excited about the future. So that was my answer to those who have asked about my career and whether you can juggle. I hope you got some form of, well, not juggle, but change around and until you find what you really want. Um, I'm not speaking as from a place of someone who has made it. Remember, this is journey to I do. I did say I will share my journey as I go through it, as opposed to me sharing it when I have arrived. Because there are many like myself who are probably in my boat who also need someone whom they can listen to and whom they can relate to. Because sometimes when you're going through stuff, you really think you're the only one, and you feel like, oh my gosh, my life is such a mess. But I want to show you that people have gone through stuff, and maybe you can relate to what I've gone through. Maybe yours was minor, maybe yours was deeper or bigger, but it's not about comparison. It's about getting to a place where you see the alignment, or you see the reasons behind, or you reflect. Because take time to reflect and look backwards and say, okay, when that happened, actually, let's be honest, when you thought you were hurt, do you not see now that that was actually a blessing in disguise? Or when you thought this was a pay cut, do you not see that that was God's way of getting you in the door to actually move you to this role instead of where you were? But had you not entered through that door that looked terrible on the outside, don't judge a book by its cover, you walked in, and that same role that you were in agony about a few months ago is the same role that got you to be have access to this role. Guys, the role that I'm in now, I did not interview for. I didn't interview for. I I was best suited because of the fact that I literally walked in there to do my previous job, and when I got there, they were looking, and I have the qualification and I have the know-how, and I'm in the group. So it was just a instant, move. So still using the same laptop I was using before, everything. I still interact a lot with the people from the previous role because we're in the same group. So I'm just very grateful. And in this mark of of 2 years after making the biggest decision, or one of the biggest decision of my life, of resigning without a job, I am at a place where I am content. I'm at a place where I've learned what I need to learn, and I'm grateful that God opened certain paths, or allowed a certain path to take place, because the person I was then and the person I am now is completely different. And I am someone who is more confident in my abilities. I'm someone who is more confident in what I bring to the table because I actually have the experience. I'm not talking because I I'm not talking from a place of I read a book or I read an article about it or whatever. Everything that every role that I've been in, I've been fully exposed to the highest degree. And I am appreciative, and I am cognizant of the fact. There's one friend of mine who keeps saying to me, "You are sought after." And when he used to say that, I didn't get it. But I have seen how God somehow causes for it to look like that, even though at times it didn't necessarily feel that way to me. So that is my this is my 2 year anniversary after making one of the biggest decisions of my life, of resigning without a job. Please don't take this to for me saying that you must go just resign. Please, guys, think about it. I had done my calculations. I knew my financial situation. I knew how much I would I, I was emotionally prepared. Financially, I was somewhat prepared, but not entirely. But I had some form of preparation. So don't let someone put you, and my reasons also of leaving had nothing to do with anyone. What I have a problem with is people changing or resigning or leaving a job because of someone, and you go alter your whole destiny and career because of someone. Nah, fam. We need to, there must be other ways around. If you've done everything you potentially can do in that situation, I guess start looking for another role and only leave when you have something else. But if you really feel strongly and you're just like, I can't wait to first find something, that's also advisable. Guys, we need to stop making it seem like our emotional and mental health is not important. It is so important. And if you have to find yourself hospitalized because you are trying to keep a job and spend all that salary in the hospital, what is the point? So, to anyone who is still a student, this career is great, guys. Like I've said to students at VUT, the when I was saying I went to London and they were so amazed. I literally had an offer to go to Manchester before this lockdown. I still need to rethink about it now with everything that has gone down. A contract. So if anyone, you're looking for some form of placement overseas, search for Gap placements, GEP placements, or either on LinkedIn or on Instagram. You will find someone whom you can talk to there, and they're hiring. The big four audit firms are hiring, and you need to be honest with yourself. Do you want to pursue an audit stream? Why relocate if you can, if you don't want to do audit? Because that's one of the main ways where you get to the other side, and it doesn't matter whether you did banking or whatever. So there are a lot of opportunities to travel. There's a lot of opportunities to change around and do different roles. That's the one thing I like about this career path, that you don't get tied to, you did maths, so all you can do is maths. No, you can mix it up and change it up, and some things I don't even know yet which CAs can do out there, and I'm hoping that I will be better exposed to it. But one thing I can tell you now, I don't see myself doing numbers my whole life. I don't see myself, I don't know, I just don't know. Currently in this, like I said, I can change my mind, but in this present moment I am content. In this present moment I am learning, and for me learning is the best thing that can ever happen, because it helps me to see other elements of myself. Especially when you grow in your career and you're managing people, it also highlights certain things about you that you need to work on. Your patience, your understanding, the way you talk, the way you handle pressure. That just because you're under pressure doesn't mean now you must throw tantrums. But if you don't get exposed to your reactions and actually take cognizant of it and be intentional, you will never really know things that are lying underneath the surface that need to actually come out and be worked on. So I'm growing as a person. I'm so in love with myself. I'm growing as a person. I'm growing in my sense of responsibility and being accountable. But I also need to, I'm not there yet, I need to learn to also not carry, because those who know me, I'm a work I have a very strong work ethic, so I work hard, and sometimes it's hard for me to take off because I live alone. It's hard for me to put that pause button to say, okay, now it's time to put away the laptop and relax. So even on the weekend I'm working, but I'm not the only one. In the current role that I have, most people in that same role have to do the same work. And now with COVID-19, we have more requests, especially in finance. I'm sure anyone in finance in any company can tell you now that there's a lot of changes. People have to apply for TARES, people have to apply for gratuity or whatever, or some form of relief or whatever. So it's tough times, and it means obviously there's a new change that every single individual needs to rise to the occasion of, which no one was prepared for, because no one was prepared. But we need to make the best of what we have been handed, and in it all, God is still faithful. So if you have any questions, please comment, please like. If there's someone you think will enjoy this video or will learn something, please share. And yeah, that is my 2-year anniversary post 2018 June. And yeah, so it's 2.5 years post articles. I'm on my way to my 3rd year post articles. In a few months it will be 3 years. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey, y'all. It's been an interesting journey. I feel like I've been working for 10 years, but not even. So I've worked 4 jobs, Sorry. I've worked 4 jobs since I qualified. 4 jobs. On to number 4. Okay. I promise I don't change and juggle jobs like I do, man. I promise. Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Bye.